everyone, we're back for Flosstube number 3. I have Roman with me again to help with the filming, and we just got back from an adventure. We went camping in North Carolina in Henderson for a mountain biking trip, and we also went to Tennessee. So we went to Canoga and Windrock, and yeah, it was really cold. I was excited to be home. We had a great time, and Roman got a lot of mountain biking in, so it was really great, and we're excited to be here again. So this is a channel about cross stitching, and you can follow me on Instagram at jenny_stitching_simply. I will try to be a lot better about posting pictures as I'm working on things so that you can see things more up close. But today I have finished objects, like fully finished objects, which is unusual for me. We have the giveaway from last time and another giveaway for this video. And I had new starts for birthdays in February and March, and some plans, I think. So we'll start with the fully finished objects. I finally made the Kind Words chart from Not Forgotten Farm into a little pillow, and this is done with sulky thread, 36 count, just antique white Zwiegart. I have a little antique button here. There's a close-up on Instagram. I think I've been carrying this button around for 20 years trying to figure out a use for it. So it's on here with a little freshwater pearl and a little lapis bead. So that was really enjoyable. I don't know if I'm really into making pillows. They tend to frustrate me, and I can't get them to be perfect, and then I just keep messing with them forever. So I don't think I'll be making like tons and tons of pillows for dough bowls or anything like that, but it was fun to do this one, and it's nice to have it fully finished finally. So that was the first one. And then one of the things that I said I was going to start in the last video was the Stitch Asia Sow from Abi BellaStitches, and I started that and I got really involved in that. So that's what I spent the most time on, I would say, last month, but I do have fully finished projects from that stitch along, which I'm really excited about. So the first was the Modern Folk Embroidery 4 Seasons pin cushions. Now, in full disclosure, I only ended up stitching spring, and once I'm about like 3/4 of the way finished, I start thinking about like, what am I actually going to do with this piece when it's done? And I really love woodworking. I mean, there's a lot of amazing artists on Etsy, of course, that do beautiful woodworking. So I found an artist. The shop is called Smile Moon. I think I'm trying to ignore the cat behind me. Oh, okay, he's on the chair. And this box ended up being, I mean, I did not buy the box and then pick the fabric counts or anything like that, but it worked out perfectly. So it's on the lid with a magnet, so I can switch it out. And the wood, I don't remember the wood. I will put it in the description box, but it's a really beautifully made box. So I figured with this one and the other one that I'm going to show you, I mean, I can easily go to Michael's or Joann Fabrics and spend, I mean, it's just so easy to spend so much on all the pretty little things and, you know, things that we might use for finishing possibly. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get one really nice piece that I really like. So that was the Japanese 4 Seasons pincushions from Modern Folk Embroidery. And this is on a 30 count legacy. I don't remember the color. And I used silks from Almond M&Ms on both of these projects, and I absolutely love them. I'll put the colors down below, but if I remember correctly, this is berry blue and I believe slate or raven for the character in the middle. And so that was the first project for that stitch along. And then I did the Japanese sampler, also from Modern Folk Embroidery. I believe that he has come out with a slightly updated chart since the one that I had purchased. The border is slightly different. But this was so much fun to stitch, and just the whole stitch along and the community and the information was so meaningful. I kind of set everything else aside and just finished these two projects for the stitch along. And then again, as I was thinking about how I wanted to finish it, I don't typically frame things. This is a frame, and this is also from Etsy. It's Jeremiah's Workshop, and they're all handmade, and this has like a turquoise inlay around the edge, which I love because that's one of my favorite stones, my favorite colors. And what's really cool is on the back he has the wood listed. This is walnut with turquoise, and he lists the mine that it's from. He has his signature on the back. It is a 5x7 frame, which I knew nothing was really going to fit this sampler correctly, but I thought I will just lay it on top. And then he has the hooks to hang it vertically or horizontally, but then he also includes these little wooden pegs with instructions, and then you can slide the pegs onto the back to make it a standing frame. I finished it on foam core, and I did the pinning technique, and then I used freshwater pearls as kind of a decorative edge. So I was pleased with that, how that turns out. And this was on another scrap of fabric that I had left over, I think from a gift that I made, so I'm not positive what this is. But I was really, really happy with those two. And I was really happy with the silks from Almond M&Ms and the stitch along and seeing what everyone else was doing. So I thought that was fantastic. So those are my 3 fully finished items since we had spoken last. As far as the SALs that I'm working on, I am working on the 2018 SAL from Modern Folk Embroidery, which I totally get is not an active SAL anymore. But what I love about SALs, one, is doing it with other people, which is super fun. But also these huge projects are broken down into smaller parts. So even though you can buy the entire chart on his website, as a complete pattern, I still purchase each month separately from the 2018 stitch along because I like the format of getting just one sheet of paper to complete. So I do have, I'm not like current on this, but I do have, this is January and February of the 2018 stitch along. And this is on the 26 count ground cloth from Avlea, and it's DMC, I think it's 3707, but I will double check and I'll put that in the bottom as well. So I enjoy this one. It's going to be a very large piece, but I like the texture of it very much. And then I'm working on the current Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 SAL, which I absolutely love. This is on 36 count Antique White Zwiegart that I just dipped in Rit dye for a second. Now this one, I have not explained before, but I started with one strand over on this corner, and I didn't like the coverage. So then I started doing it in two strands, which is what I prefer stitching with in general. And I'm sure that when I dyed the fabric, it shrunk a little bit, so it's probably more like 40 count. And I like using two strands, and I like the stitches to be a little bit puffier and plumper, but they're definitely too thick on this fabric. And I don't even care. I love it so much, but as I stitch more and more, I'm almost done with March because we were away on that mountain biking trip. I have a little bit more to do here. It's almost like a rug. I mean, it's so thick between the front and the back of the stitching, but I love it. And I love the texture. And with all of my stitching, I mean, that's what I love. Like I love touching it. When other people look at it, I'm always like, touch it. So it doesn't bother me. I mean, is it correct? Probably not. I mean, the counting is all correct, but yeah, this is a very thick piece of stitching. It's DMC 939 and 924. 924 I tend to use, like, if I could squeeze it into every project, I would. So I love this stitch along. It's very satisfying to have these areas where you're doing the stitching and the negative space is the design element. So I'll finish up March, and then April was obviously released on April 1st, so I'll get caught up with that. And then Nicola from Bumble Stitches is doing the Pocketful of Posies sal, which I think is so lovely because I'm so ready for spring, like everyone else is, I'm sure. And I had started, I think it was in my very first video, I mentioned one of the Avlea charts. It's Delphian Cornflower, and I had just put like 5 stitches into it, and so I thought, oh, that'll be perfect for the stitch along. So I got this back out again, almost replaced one of the blues with 924, but decided no, it's so pretty, I don't need to put that color in everything, and I'm doing it all as charted. And I just started it while Roman had physical therapy today. This is one 26 count ground cloth, and it's basically a mirror image, the design of each other, and I just have one little flower done, but I love it so much. This has I think 7 colors, which is a lot for me, and they're very bright colors for me, so it's fun to do something different and really springy, and that one little flower so far makes me so happy. So I will definitely work more on this. The stitch along is in April, and Nicola obviously has great information on her Flosstubes about it if anyone's interested. And the container that I have it in, when we went camping, I pictured myself having all this free time sitting outside in the nice weather while the boys were riding their bikes. But I usually use like the produce bags to put my projects in, and now thinking about it, I guess I could just use a Ziploc bag. But at the time I thought, oh, I need something like sturdier and maybe a little bit like water resistant just in case, because it like poured a lot while we were camping. So there's a company called Topo Designs, T-O-P-O, and they make fantastic, they make like backpacks and they make climbing equipment, but like my carry-on bag that I use is like a book bag that fits like at least a week's worth of stuff with room to spare. Anyway, I looked to see if they had something. This is, it's meant to be a travel case for your passport and like travel documents. And apparently it didn't work out well for that reason because it was on clearance. It didn't have good reviews for like that purpose. However, for stitching, I found it to be really useful. So what I did was I put my pattern in here, and then I can use the mesh pocket for like, you know, loose pieces of thread and orts and things. I did have to get another pair of scissors because I was concerned that I would lose my one pair, you know, on the trip, traveling or whatever. And then since I do not put my floss on like a floss ring, I have it, I'm really proud of this, I have it stuck in the pocket with the number side up. So I just sit there and like pull the piece out and it just stays in the pocket. So it's working out really well. I mean, this is about as big of a piece of fabric as you can fit in there. But I think it's nice, it's sturdy. I don't, like I've mentioned before, I don't use project bags, but I mean, there is a time and a place, I think, for like being outside. Oh, I don't know if I said this, but yeah, I got no stitching done. We were so busy doing like camp chores and trying to make sure the boys' tents didn't fly away because they were gone all day, and so we were like chopping firewood and things like that. But this also gives you, like, it has a plastic insert, so it kind of gives you something sturdy to put on your lap. But it worked great at physical therapy today. So normally I have to like take everything out of the little cloth bag, and then, you know, I don't know, this was just a little bit less, I don't know, it was just easier to deal with. So, and it zippers all the way around. There was a little key clip on the inside, but it really just made it hard to close, so I cut that out. And then it has a little handle, so I thought that was really nice. So I'll link it below. I don't know if they still have them. I bought it the week before we went on our trip, and I know it seemed like they were just putting them on sale and not going to make this, but they may make a different version. I would love it to be a little bit bigger, but again, nice and sturdy. So then we have the projects that I had planned on starting the last time we spoke that were for birthdays and things like that. So I think the first one that I talked about was for Tristan's birthday, because his is February 13th, and I talked about how I was going to start the Armenian Ramshorn from Avlea, because Tristan is Armenian, and I was hoping to get it done before Remembrance Day, which is April 24th in the US. And that's how far I got. This is the project I took camping with me that I thought, like, oh, I'll get the whole thing done and then I'll be wishing I had brought something else. No, that's how much I got done. So I don't know if I'm going to get it done by the 24th of April, but it's really fun to work on. A lot of Krista's patterns are meditative, and they're actually listed on her website with an M. This one's not technically in that category, but I do find it very relaxing to stitch because it is very easy to remember the pattern and repeat it. And there's only 3 colors. I'm using the called for because it is for Tristan, and I wanted the colors to be the traditional Armenian design. So it's 310, 355, and 3012. So super easy, 3 colors, just really fun to stitch. This is on the 30 count Mikini cloth, which is also really nice to stitch on. So that was the first one, because going in, I guess, order of birthdays, that was, Tristan's was first. Then for my birthday and my mom's birthday, I had shown the painting of the butterflies, and was starting Kathy Barrick's Painted Wings. So I did start it. I got this beautiful piece of Fox and Rabbit 36 count eucalyptus because I mean, of course I had to go with something that had blue. The linen is a green and the butterflies are green, and I'm okay with some green, but I had to get some blue in there somehow. So this is beautiful fabric and I love it. I'm actually doing it in Sajou. So I pulled the DMC colors and then I found what I could substitute with, and the 2 strands of Sajou on the 36 count is perfect. One of the things I don't know if anybody noticed, but like when I showed the patterns last time that I was going to start, I never showed fabric or threads, and it's because I don't know what I'm going to use until basically almost when I started. I don't really spend a lot of time planning or prepping the projects. It's not, I know, I totally get it. Like for some people that's like a really fun part of the process. I just want to pick a fabric and just get going on it. So with this, I ordered 2 options that were very similar. Went with the one that was more blue, and then realized that when I was looking at the DMC colors, that with the Sajou, the only way I have been able to find it to purchase it is by the box sets. And these are colors that I probably wouldn't use in like a monochromatic piece. So I thought, well, this is perfect. You know, I can get use out of these. They're just, you know, it'll be beautiful on this fabric and with the chart. So that's why I didn't show any threads or fabrics last time. And then I had pulled these, and they're great because, you know, they come on a card. And I thought, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm really gonna put this in, because I keep all my DMC just as it is, and I just throw everything in a big basket. And I thought, well, I'll look around the house and I'll find like a little pottery piece or something to put them in. And then Roman made me, for my birthday in ceramics, this beautiful container, which he is not happy with at all. He does not like the color. In the glaze sample, it was like more of a true green, like a leaf green. So he's so upset about how it turned out. However, I love it. And I said, Roman, look at the chart. I mean, it was made for this chart. It literally has the exact same colors as the chart. And it's, I mean, there's like a little coil to separate. And so these fit perfectly on this side. I still have the DMC here for reference in case when I go to stitch something doesn't, you know, if I need to make some changes. And then there's a little middle part for my orts. So it was the most thoughtful gift, and he spent so much time making it. And then I felt so bad that he wasn't happy with it, but I love it. I mean, it's like, it looks like all of this is meant to go together. So that was really sweet. And another reason why I'm glad when I have that temptation to like buy something because, oh, I don't have something to put this in, or, you know, I needed to go get foam core or whatever. Like I found the foam core in the attic, and then Roman made me this, and it was exactly what I needed for this project. So sometimes just, I feel like for me, if I just wait a minute, a lot of times things just turn up that I can use. So that was, I think that was my birthday. So that was the next birthday start. That was February 26th. Oh, and my mom's birthday. Sorry, Mom. I told you, I always like forget. Then my brother's birthday is March 17th. So I had explained that I was going to start this modern folk embroidery Italian chart because he used to teach Italian. He teaches Spanish now. And I did print it says the saying translates as, to every bird its own nest is beautiful. So that's what I couldn't remember and get out last time. But when I was doing the, the Japanese pin cushions, after I finished the spring one, I thought, oh, it would be cool to do each season a different color, keep the character in the middle the same, and then do the outside the same color, or different colors for the seasons. So I went to Almond M&M's website and got beautiful colors of silks. I'll insert a picture, or Roman will insert a picture of what they looked like when I got them, because they were really pretty. And I've like mangled them, but they're like really pretty pastels, and I don't tend to do like seasonal stitching necessarily, so I love seeing everybody's like Easter stitching and things like that, but I don't normally have something like that. So when I saw all the colors together, I thought, oh, well, I'm just gonna use those for the this Italian pin cushion and just make it really springy. And because normally if I don't know, I'd probably pick like black and blue would be the colors I would choose for it. So you know, it was fun to use the pinks and the teals and the purples. So this is 36 count ice blue Zwiegart, and I got a heart and 2 letters done, but I started it. And yeah, again, the Stitch Asia projects definitely kind of took my attention, but with the silks, I'm sorry, this is terrible, but again, I don't put them on anything, and I don't put them in bags or anything. I put them in this little shaker box that I love, and they're just all in there like a giant nest. And then I just take them out as I need them. So that's all my silks, and I love them. And if you haven't purchased from the site yet, they're beautiful. When I got those colors, they made me so happy. So I will keep working on that. I like it very much, and like I said, I like using a completely different color palette than what I would normally use for projects. And then the one thing I wanted to do that I did not get to do, just with the trip and then prepping for the trip, because I feel like when we're camping, we have to spend a lot of time like making sure, you know, that all the gear works and we have everything. So I grew up always doing Ukrainian eggs. We would do them for Easter, but technically Ukrainian eggs were not just like Easter decorations. And there was a time in college, high school, college, that I was like completely obsessed with them. Like the symbols on them are fascinating. What was believed they could do was fascinating. And just the tradition in general. The symbols changed. They represented one thing pre-Christianity, and then they changed after the fact. And we just always grew up doing them. And when my kids were little, like looking back, I can't believe I let them do this, but you know, when you make Ukrainian eggs, you use a candle and you use a kiska, and it's like a little metal funnel on a wooden stick, and you put wax in it, and then you heat it on the candle, and then you draw on the egg, the hollowed out egg. And they were always really good at it, but the combination of like the open flame and the hot wax and the hot metal, maybe they shouldn't have done that. But this year I really wanted to do that for Easter. And the other thing, of course, Avlea came out with a Ukrainian bit kit, but you can also just buy the pattern. I'll have Roman put another picture in. So I love Ukrainian patterns and designs. So in my mind, I thought, well, for Easter or around Easter time, I'll start this pattern and I will do some Ukrainian eggs, and maybe I could even do, you know, a separate video on how they're made if anyone's interested. And I think realistically, I just need to do it whenever I have the time and, you know, want to do it, because I always wait until the Easter season and then it's busy and it's spring break and the kids have things they want to do, and then I just never do it. So there's a company, I forget the name of it, that we always ordered our supplies from, and I checked, they still exist, which is awesome. And I think that's something that I want to try to do again, and I'll definitely get to this chart, but I don't know when. So it's unusual for me to have one that I just have and will start someday, but this one was like too sentimental for me to not have. For expo, I haven't purchased anything that came from expo. I love seeing what everyone got and what all the designers released. They're all pretty, so I don't know what to get, you know. I figure I'll kind of like let the dust settle and then maybe pick some things. But I did purchase, she was a new designer at expo, and her name is Jean Workman from Monticello Stitches. And I had found her Flosstube right at the beginning of the year. I think she started her Flosstube. And she's so lovely, and I love her southern accent, and I love her quilts. And she has beautiful Baltimore album quilts. And she had started designing. So back, I think when I found her in January, I purchased the Keys to Happiness chart. So I know that this was, Roman's crawling under the tripod because he's trying to get around the camera and he can't. Okay, so again, this was an unusual, like I didn't have a plan to start it. I liked Jean, and I was excited for her starting her new adventure. And so I purchased this, and I think it's really lovely. So it says, never put the keys to your happiness in someone else's pocket. So I thought that was very good. I have thought about Maynia, and I want to do it so badly, because last year when I started cross stitching again, it was like the end of March, middle of March, you know, right when everything shut down. So I figured out what Maynia was, but it was kind of too late, you know, to get things and start something. However, Tristan leaves for a semester May 23rd, and it's school, but it's different in the sense that he won't have his phone, and it's not like we can just call him or he can call us or anything like that. So I don't want to be, you know, all wrapped up in Maynia the month that my child leaves for college. So I think what I'm going to do is he flies out May 22nd and he starts school May 23rd. And I think that when he leaves, that will be a good time for me to kind of do my own Maynia, maybe for like that that month. I mean, of course, I'll still have my sweet Roman here. I told Roman we can spend all of our time together. But I think that will help me cope with Tristan leaving. So Amanda from Alba Stitcher, I can never remember people's names correctly. But anyway, she was talking about doing 4 Blackbird design Christmas charts, like starting 1 each week for her Maynia. And I thought, yeah, that's about what I think, you know, I might start like 1 project each week. And I had said to her, like, maybe, I mean, I've never actually done a Blackbird design. I don't own any. Not because I don't think they're beautiful, but clearly I get really hung up with the Avlea and the modern folk embroidery. And then I, like, you know, if I don't have time to stitch it, I don't own it. So I thought, well, that'd be fun. Maybe I'll pick out a Blackbird design pattern. And then I thought, well, what if I did my Maynia, like, artist that I have never stitched before? So one would be like a Blackbird Christmas chart, and then one would be the Monticello Stitches. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I don't think there was anything else I had like at the top of my head, but I think it would be fun to pick out 2 other designers that I've never stitched before or purchased a chart from, which is pretty easy because basically my charts consist of 2 artists. Not that I haven't done others in the past, but recently. Okay, 3. I've got Kathy Barrick in here too. But so that might be what I do. So that's another reason I kind of want to see what everyone has from Expo. And, you know, sometimes there's those ones that get overlooked at the beginning and end up being just really great. So I don't know, we'll see what I decide. I wanted to announce the winner. We did the Sulky giveaway the last time we made a video, which was over a month ago, but I didn't forget. I have it all here. It's in a plastic bag. It's all ready to mail. And let me just grab my phone, sorry. I took a picture. We figured out the random comment picker, so that was exciting. And we'll post a picture of this, and the sad thing was, I kept thinking, oh, please let it be something I can pronounce. And so the Sulky goes to Willaren, is the YouTube name. WILLAREN. So if you email me your mailing address, I will get that out to you right away. We are slow to make videos, but I am good about getting things in the mail, so I will get that to you. That email that I set up is new. I'll check the spam, but if you don't hear back from me right away saying I got your email and I'm sending it out, just you can also send me a message on Instagram. So again, I'm going to try to be better about posting on Instagram. I would love it if you would follow me. I do have another giveaway. I think it's fun. I think we should have a giveaway every time. I have a bit kit from Avlea, and it's called Balkan Lodgins, and it's really beautiful. It's a little bit hard to see the design in the front picture. It comes, but it's really, really pretty. It has the ground cloth, and it has all the threads you need and the charts, and it's obviously not stitched. When I first found Krista and Avlea, may have gone a little bit more than like what I would normally keep on hand. So I would love to pass this along because again, I can't, for me, this is no judgment at all about anything regarding quantities of supplies. If I have more than I can possibly work on, it gives me anxiety, and that is totally just me. So my personal issue. So I would love to pass this on. It would be perfect if somebody wants to try that kind of like decorative chart, and also the ground cloth, because it's very different. Like earlier today I was working on the 36 count linen on the Modern Folk Embroidery SAL, and then I switched to the 26 count ground cloth, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy, it's so much fun. So if you're interested in this, just leave a comment and use the word Avlea in the comment. It's spelled Avlea. It would be even better if you went to her website and checked her out. I just watched her last Flosstube yesterday, and she just has so much like interesting information about history of embroidery, health benefits of embroidery, and she's just really lovely. I think, if I remember correctly, this month these bit kits are 15% off on her website, and if you sign up for her newsletter, then you'll get the notifications. She doesn't send things out often, like maybe once a month or so, but if there's something on sale or a new chart or something, she'll put it on there. So I would love to give this to somebody. And then the only haul that I have, I'm like the most boring haul person ever. It's not here yet, but I ordered a yard of antique white 36 count Zwiegart, because that's the most exciting fabric ever. I just love that. I love that color. Because Jacob came out with the Italian handkerchief stitch along, and that's what I need, is another gigantic stitch along. It's like 445 by 400 and something, I don't know, but it's an Italian sampler, and I am Italian. I'm also Czech, but that's where the Ukrainian eggs come in. But I think of my paternal grandmother, Celestina, and I think she would have loved that chart. And I am going to do a color conversion. There's a lot of kind of like dusty purples in the original. It is a reproduction sampler. I didn't even print it out. I mean, I did purchase it, but I'm not stitching it yet, so I didn't even print it out. It's like 30 pages long, and I think I'm just going to print one page at a time. And he was saying on his Flosstube, you know, if you did one page a week, you know, you'd have it done by the end of the year. So that's really beautiful. And I think because I don't super enjoy finishing things, I guess subconsciously if I keep doing like giant projects that take a year to finish, then I have less finishing to do, or, you know. So, yeah, when that white fabric gets here, I'll show you that. But I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I think that's everything in my pile. So, again, almond M&M silk. If you haven't tried that, it's amazing. If you want to enter the giveaway, just use Avlea in the comments. Thank you again for all the kind comments. Thank you so much, Bonnie and Daleen and Sherry, for mentioning us on their Flosstubes. I mean, Roman and I are like he'll hear it from the other room and be like, oh my gosh, Mom, did somebody just mention us on Flosstubes? So, I mean, it's just been really exciting and just really nice. And so, I think that's everything I have. So thank you again, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. It definitely means a lot to us, and we will see you soon. I don't think it will be as long of a time. We're going to try much harder. So we'll be excited to talk to you again. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.